Welcome to Cheryl's Kitchen. Today I'm going to make zucchini bread from zucchini from my garden. Voila. I don't know if you guys have a surplus of zucchini, but I sure do. Gonna go into my garden and we're gonna pick a zucchini. I'm really happy with my garden this year, and really happy that Jimmy put a fence up around it. Keep the chickens out. And I gotta water my eggplant. Okay, so here is the zucchini, and I don't know if you can see, there's a couple of really nice ones there. Wow. Here's one. So, I was pretty sure there was another one. Oh yeah, there's a great big one down there. See that one? So to pick the zucchini, you just twist it. Awesome! So I've got lots of zucchini. So we just got back from the garden with the zucchini, and I have them here on the counter, and the recipe calls for 2 cups. So I think this one's going to be a little bit too big, but I think one of these medium-sized will be 2 cups. So we're going to shred that and see what it works out to. One thing that I did learn when I was talking to my friend Sarah, the baker, she said to make sure when you are making zucchini bread that you let it sit for a bit and then you strain off the water, because there is quite a bit of liquid that comes out of the zucchini. So that zucchini was a bit big. I've still got this much left over. But that's okay. I can maybe use it with dinner. So my recipe calls for 3 eggs. So we're going to go out to the chicken coop and see what we've got for eggs. Ooh. So I do check my eggs for cracks. So 3. And I put my eggshells in the oven and I just cook them a little bit, and I crush them up and I feed them back to my chickens because it's straight calcium. And the recipe calls for 2 cups of white sugar. That's 2 cups. I like to use sugar substitutes. I got to experiment a little bit with the recipe, the zucchini recipe, to add honey instead of vanilla. My mom brought back for me from Mexico. So there's a tablespoon of vanilla. So there's 2 cups. Teaspoon of salt. I'm making the recipe on page 4 of the Carver Cookbook, which I think is pretty exciting because it was a cookbook that my Aunt Carol, and I just kind of guessed a teaspoon. My Aunt Carol made the cookbook for one of our Carver reunions. So if you're thinking about some ideas for your reunions, it was an awesome idea. Everyone sent in a recipe, and my aunt collected them all and put them in this sweet little binder. Oh, something fell out. It's a picture that I keep of my daughter. on her first day of school. Why do I keep it in there? I do not know. Anyway, it's asking for a half a teaspoon of baking powder. And 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So I just kind of guessed that out too. Cinnamon. And I like lots of cinnamon, so I might be guessing on the high side. So once you mixed all that in, then you get your strained zucchini and you dump it in there. And mix it in. I get my oven on 350, and I want to butter and flour, grease my pan. And the reason I do that is so that it easily comes out of the pan. So I take a little bit of butter and put it in my bread pan. And I get my hands in there and I just coat the bottom and the sides so it'll come out of the cake pan easy. So I got lots of butter on the sides and on the bottom. And then what I want to do is I like adding a little bit of flour to it. So it gives me a little bit of added assurance that it's going to come out of my pan nicely. Okay, in the pan. And I pour it, I'm going to pour it all in there. It looks like it's all going to fit. I usually try to do my baking to like 3/4 of the way filling the pan. And then we're going to put that in the oven at 350 and it's going to bake for about an hour. So we'll come back and have a look. So it's been about 50 minutes, or the way I sometimes judge is when I can start to smell it. And there's the zucchini bread. Now it didn't rise as much as I had hoped that it would. But you know what? Sometimes they don't rise as much as you hope that they would. But they still taste really yummy. And I tested it with my little tester here. You stick that in the middle, and if it comes out with nothing on it, no batter, then you know it's done. Or you can sometimes just go by smell. Ooh. All right. Now, I should have let it cool off more, because if I let it cool off more, you wouldn't have this on the bottom. You wouldn't have the half of it sticking to the pan kind of thing happening. But these are fails, and these are how we learn. I definitely want to try it. Probably shouldn't try it right out of the oven. That's probably another thing that we should do. We should probably wait. It just looks super moist and there's green flecks in it. The zucchini. So, okay. My mouth is watering. Putting some butter on it. Super hot. But super yummy.